we're talking about Worf, okay? I have to. I've been watching TNG. I just have to say, it's campy. Yeah, we get it, but
It
it's
still
so
sustains. It still holds its value.
Dude,
it's
so
so
good.
good. It's
so
just like
good.
every character, like Worf. Worf plays this one of the most difficult characters to play. He's stubborn, right? Like he doesn't take shit from anybody. He will not back down from a fight. And yet, even with these like really overwhelming, like aggro character traits, you watch him in any scene with Picard. If he ever disagrees with the order, he voices his objection and does so in a very Worf way. Picard weighs it, says no. Worf doesn't back down because he obviously like voiced his objection to the captain of the Enterprise, the flagship of the Federation. And then he just like acknowledges that he's outranked. There's no bullshit. There's no like drama. It's just like, dude's my boss.
And Picard goes, noted. And then it just keeps going.
Gamer Shark, what's up? What's up, everybody? We're live. I gotta turn my own self view off so I can stop looking at this.
The best.
But we don't want to talk more about Enterprise.
I could talk about Enterprise all day,
I feel like
but I'm not going to.
Anyone
Gamer
else's
Shark,
favorite
just want to
season
give
Voyager?
you.
No.
Gamer Shark, we're giving you a shout out for the bits. You just dropped us some bits. We're giving you a shout out. Hello, everybody. I'm gonna give you the official welcome now. I feel like we've transitioned, right?
Yes.
What's up? Welcome to the in crowd. We play D&D 5e. We focus on story and characters, a little bit more than mechanics, though we do mess around with those too. This is our 5th episode of this arc, which means we are halfway through. If you need to catch up, we have a great new intro put together by these fun cats right here. It is on our YouTube page, and there's a link for that below. We did see a tweet from Disciple of the Logris, which kind of prompted this. They've been watching multiple shows. Thank you. And you're welcome. But they found it tricky to stay current on all these shows since some of them are a bit long. So we made this recap, and now it's much easier to catch up. So if you ever want to show any of your friends what's up and you want them to get caught up, this is the way to do it. It's at the YouTube thing, and you can direct them there. And of course, all of our previous episodes are up there too. So if they just want to really like dive in, they can do that. I want to play some D&D. Do you guys want to play some D&D?
I'm scared. I'm so scared.
All right. Let's roll.
It's gonna be okay.
What was once a beautiful garden is now a mass of withered plants coiling in on themselves like a snake about to strike. Eston stands at the foot of the great tree and cackles madly, and it sounds like this. A dark portal ripples open behind him, and the surrounding dead garden suddenly forms a barrier between you. The only plant that still seems alive is the massive tree where the silver-shade nightingale was plucked. Its limbs come alive and rear away from the toxic power of the glowing green skull, which is still floating in the air in front of you. And just when it seems like there's a glimmer of hope, the boughs and branches turn gray and hollow before your eyes. The diamond-shaped leaves fall away, fluttering like the great guardian's final breath. The skull floats out from near that void and envelops Eston's head like a ghostly helmet, making a willing puppet of him. He says with airy depth, "Kill them!" And the plants attack.
Ooh.
Roll initiative.
Shit.
Let's just give a quick recap of HP. If we could just go around the table here and just hear what everybody's rocking. Argus?
I got 2 hit points and I'm loving it.
Iratran?
I've got 4. I've got 4 points.
Naomi?
I have a hit point.
And Tris?
8 hit points. Everybody get behind me.
Wow,
For the love of
the
God.
tank over here.
The rogue with no strength. Yep.
All right, hit those initiatives.
11.
D20.
8.
11 from Tris.
18 for Argus.
Wow.
18 for Irotron.
I
Ow.
rolled a 1.
Okay.
This is going really well.
Naomi, a vine wraps around your ankles and lifts
Yeah.
you into the air. You
Yeah,
will
that
be
sounds
starting
right.
your turn restrained and
Okay.
floating above the ground. So that's going to be Naomi last.
Why?
Irotran, Argus, you got a preference on who wants to go first?
It's a dex off, right? You want a dex
It's a
off?
dex off.
What's your dex?
Ooh, Irotran's pretty
Oh,
dexterous.
Mine is 20.
Oh, mine's a 19. Okay, you get it.
I won. Wow.
I'd let you go first, anyways.
Gamer Shark, we love you. Thank you for putting out 5 more gift subs. You're the coolest.
I'm tempted to do like a gamer shark doo but I'm not,
Shark doo 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 doo.
I'm not sure if that's like within the.
What? Was
framework
it
of the
2019 for you guys? Come on.
I quit the game.
All right, we're just going to log Naomi out real quick. All right, so here's what's up. I got the
Enjoy your hit
initiative
point.
order here. Irotran, you're going to be starting us off. So what we're looking at is Eston standing up by the big tree, and he's got the glowing skull now shrunk down around his like a helmet. And then you all are on the other side of this barrier of plants. It's a writhing mess of briar, vines, parts of the branches from the tree have now curled down around. There's a lot going on, but it's mostly just nasty plants. And Naomi's kind of like floating in the air, being held up by some of those vines because she failed her initiative roll critically. Irotran, what would you like to do?
I'm going to cast a cantrip on both my short sword and my scimitar.
All right.
I'm
This
going
is the green flames, I believe,
green
right?
Green flame blade. That's hard to say as a pirate. Green flame blade.
All right. Irotran draws his blades, casts green flames, and both of them erupt into flaming green blades. Do you want to do anything else? I think you got like bonus or movement.
I will go to protect. I think I'll go next to Naomi to get ready to protect her dangling self.
Okay, cool.
Thanks, buddy.
That brings us to Argus.
Last time we checked, I was over near the plants that had the fruit on them.
You were.
Is fruit still there?
It is.
I am going to
be just, it's like, it looks like old apples at this point. Once everything in the garden started to retract and die, the fruit ripened before your eyes very quickly and became like a very soft mango.
Well, it's a good thing that I truly enjoy overly ripened fruit, especially in my beer, if you want to look back on episode 1. So I'm going to actually pick an apple off of the vine and take a bite out of it to psych myself up.
Okay, I'm going to give this to you as a free action. You can taste this thing losing flavor in the time between chewing. Whatever this magic is that's ripping the life out of these plants, these fruits are just shriveling up before you. So you get just a taste. It's a very tart taste before it immediately sours, deepens, and turns to kind of a mush.
So I go,
Ew.
And it looks fucking rad.
it looks a lot cooler than it probably sounded. I am going to, can I see the skull of flaming from where we are?
You can see it, but it looks like the plants are just creating a barrier between you and it, but it is visible. It's around Eston's head.
I would like to try and take a shot at it with my short bow.
Please do. You're going to be at disadvantage shooting through the bramble, but you can still shoot.
Do that. See what happens when I try to shoot things. Where the heck's my stuff at? Sorry, guys. 1 second.
Oh.
My stuff is not showing up. Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. Oh, God, this is not going to work either way. Yeah, it's a 9.
Your arrow seems to be flying true, but before it can hit Eston, one of the vines whips up and breaks the shaft of the arrow, splintering it into the air. He did not seem to be directing it. It just happened. And he
I will get into an exchange of flipping off with the vine from now on. Great. Wonderful.
Triss.
And I will use my movement to join Iratran at the base of where Naomi is hanging in the air right now.
The two of you are now flanking her on either side as she's hanging upside down and her face is turning red. Triss, it is your turn.
All right. Am I able to use my sneak to flank Eston and stab him with my rapier?
The way that rogues hide is, I think at a higher level, you will actually be able to do it as a bonus action. You can use an action to take cover and try to hide if you'd like to. You will have to navigate this barrier of plants, but you could try to get hidden first.
And I look back at Naomi and my friends, and I think, well, I can't really leave them, so I'm going to use my movement to walk by them and ready my rapier to start hacking down vines.
Okay. Slash away.
All right.
You trying to free Naomi?
Yes.
Yeah. Hack and slash.
Oh, no.
It's like my last date in 2000.
An 11.
That's gonna hit. The vines have a very low AC. They're not armored. They're just old vines. Roll for damage.
Oh, 5.
That will cut her down. Naomi, you fall to the ground. You do not take any damage because you were on your way up. But Triss has freed you. It is now
Preach.
the tree's turn.
Oh, shit.
Seeing that Triss is actively working to hack and slash, Triss, I'm going to need you to make a dexterity saving throw. DC 15.
A 25.
Okay. From 3 different parts of this barrier, vines leap out and try to tangle you up, but you're able to sidestep and dance around them. And they continue to slither across the ground. Which brings us to Naomi.
Okay. How close am I to Eston?
You guys are about 20 feet. Once shit went down, he charged towards the tree. You're at that like little basin where you reactivated the flower. He charged back up towards the tree, and the plants closed between you.
Okay. But like sort of a net of vines kind of a thing?
Yeah. They're
Okay.
moving, they're writhing around, but that would be, it's like a...
So like a hypothetical boomerang could not get through that probably.
You can roll to attack through the things, but you'll just be rolling at disadvantage.
Yeah. Sure. You know what? Yeah, let's do it. Right? Okay. Okay.
Thing, thank you for the gift sub. What's your attack there, Naomi?
I rolled a 1.
Triss, roll a dexterity saving throw.
Oh
my
God.
Good Lord.
It was a different D20 too.
Oh no, I rolled a 9.
All right. Naomi, roll for damage.
Okay. Jeez.
Oh,
That's
she
a-
hit me instead.
That's a D4, right? Or no, what am I rolling for that?
I think it's probably a D6. I'll tell you
okay.
in just a second.
Okay, 4.
Okay. You throw your boomerang, and it goes straight through as one of the pockets opens up the bramble. Eston just manages to duck, and the boomerang comes back around. But as Trish is leaping out of the way from the vines that are trying to entangle her, she catches the boomerang in the side of the head and takes 4 damage.
Oh, Triss, I'm so sorry.
It's all right. Oh, all right.
Which brings us to Eston's turn. You can see that he is now casting some kind of spell. He has that white orb that he brought out last time. But the voice that's coming out of his mouth does not sound like the kind and charming voice of Eston. It is much more akin, a hybrid between his voice and the skull's voice. Everybody make a dex saving throw. The DC on this is going to be a bit higher. It's going to be a DC 17.
No,
20.
no.
Nice.
Ah!
Damn.
That's an 8
So beat
for
up.
me.
Okay, cool.
Terrible.
Iratran and Triss, you have a better view of this because yours doesn't get interrupted. As Eston steps down from the tree roots and towards the barrier of plants, they curl outward and part. They actually lash out, grabbing both Argus and Naomi and starting to spin them up. You do not
no.
take any damage, but you are restrained
Not again.
to the full extent of that. Argus and Iratran and Triss, you're able to dance out of the way. But as Eston moves towards the staircase that will take him back down to the bottom of this tower, the plants jump and start to form in between you and him. Imagine just like a living wall of vines that have some thorns on them, for the most part, intermingled with some flowers and etc. That's all dying. And he is now headed towards the stairway.
All right.
Which brings us to Iratran. You are not restrained. You managed to dance out of the way.
Oh, I'm very nimble. All right. I'm kind of pissed at this man now. So we're going to go after him with me scimitar.
Okay. You're going to roll at disadvantage because he is within approach now, but the vines are creating this difficult scenario.
All right, then. Let's see. $19 is my weak one.
Mhm.
That's gonna hit.
Yes.
Roll for damage.
Hit him once.
7 plus my green flame blade. How does
What's the bonus damage? It's a +1 on the damage, so 8.
yeah.
Mechanically speaking, he is resistant to this damage. It still deals damage, but it gets cut in half. So he gets 4. You see a leap of matching green flame come off of the skull and deflect your blade, so it does not hit true. But you do slash Eston's arm, and it does bleed. I believe you have a second attack.
Oh, I do. We're going short sword to the gut.
All right. Roll for, that'll be at disadvantage again.
That's a good start. Well, I really wish it was the second one, because that was a crit, but we'll go with 24, I guess.
That's pretty good. Roll for damage.
All righty then. 10.
Okay. Again,
Wait, no,
lick
no.
of
It counted the crit, so it's just 5.
okay. Again, a lick of flame jumps off of the skull that he's wearing and deflects the blade, but you still deal 3 damage. And then Eston uses his reaction. He twirls around with the white orb and throws his other hand out at you, flat palmed, and you see that the vines coalesce into a wall of plants and explode at you. This is just going to be an attack. And that is going to be, what is his spellcasting modifier? That's going to be 23 to hit. And we got a hype train, everybody.
Woo-choo. Oh, hype
Just
train.
in time for the doom and gloom.
I know, right? Hype train right when they die.
You guys, you're doing good, but I feel like the hype trains for Eston, he kind of has that like fan favorite vibe.
No way. No way.
To be fair, I really like his accent. I do.
Oh.
I'm a little pissed off though, like, because he keeps
It's the laugh. The laugh is hilarious.
hitting.
I just want to live.
Iratran, you take 3 damage, but more importantly, the wall, when it hits you, wraps around, and you are also now restrained. And Eston continues walking towards the stairs, which brings us to Argus. You're
Right.
restrained.
Currently restrained, so I have no movement, and my action is at disadvantage. Is that correct?
Indeed. You can make another attempt to break out. It would be either an acrobatics or athletics check, DC 17,
Okay.
but you are still able to do things with while being restrained if you don't want to break out.
What
You're
is
tall? Thank you. Everybody's hooking us up tonight. They feel sorry for you guys.
That's all right. I feel sorry for me too. What is the distance between us currently in the plants and Eston?
Once you got wrapped up, they started to drag you back towards the tree. So as Eston walked by, you're about 15 feet. And he's headed for that staircase.
I am going to try to stop him from getting out of the staircase. I'm going to cast Thorn Whip and attempt to wrap him up and pull him closer to us.
All right, roll it at disadvantage.
That's going to make it hard. Oh, first one was good too. Crud. It's a 12.
Okay, that's not going to do it. However, Argus, when you lash out that water, as we've discussed, your Thorn Whip is made of water. Eston doesn't even need to duck because you're just having a hard time getting your hand out. But as that whip lashes some of the wall of vines, you can actually see them recoil and come back to life where it hit. And anything that starts to come back to life, like a couple flowers bloom, that becomes, it kind of falls out of rhythm with all the dead, writhing plants. So as your water hits them and brings them back to life, they stop reacting to the magic. Because it was an isolated hit, it doesn't last long, but you definitely see that happen.
They're alive. We won't be, but they are. Okay.
Triss?
All right, so Eston's taken damage, correct?
Yes, quite a bit. Iratran just lit him up.
I think I should add to it, because if we can shut him down, maybe it will shut all the plants down. So, do I get sneak attack this time since he's occupied?
No, only when he's engaged. He wrapped up Iratran and then kept walking. He doesn't seem to be sticking around to fight.
Well, then I'm going to follow him. And shoot him with my short bow.
Roll it.
It's a 21.
That's sorry, it needs to be at disadvantage. All attacks right now, because of the plants, are at disadvantage. I apologize. I imagine you're still going to hit because you have a very high dex, but
14.
We'll see. That will do it. He is a mage. Damn it!
Whatever.
Roll damage.
Are you legit rooting for us to die?
I'm partial to Eston, okay? I don't want to kill you, but I don't want to see him die either. That's my character, okay? What was your damage there, Triss?
It was a 5.
Okay. A lick of green flame jumps off of the skull and deflects the arrow, so it just kind of hits off the mark. It still deals 3 damage. You can see that Eston at this point is bloody. The slashes from Iratran's blades have left his robes coated. Triss, when your arrow goes into his shoulder, it would have hit him probably in the spine had the skull not jumped in. It sinks into his shoulder and he nearly trips and falls. But the skull lets off a cloud of green flame that starts to swirl around him. And Eston turns around, and you can see that his body's not doing well. It is bleeding quite bad. His limbs are being sluggish, but the flames from this thing wrap around him almost like an exoskeleton and start to use his hands to cast another spell. And the skull says, well, I guess you're a little bit better at this than I expected. And he casts this spell.
Oh no.
Who is not restrained? Triss is the only one not restrained, right?
Shit.
Okay, cool.
I don't have a lot of hit points left.
All of the vines disperse and they become these tendrils that start snaking across the ground. And much like they did to Naomi at the top of this encounter, Triss, they wrap around your ankles and pull you into the air. You're going to take 2, let me just make sure, 2 damage as they tighten around you. The rest of you, this spell just seemed to... Oh, Iritran. Oh, yeah, you just got wrapped up from that wall, too. You fool! It just seems to tighten the vines around you and lift you into the air and start to pull you away. The rest of you don't take damage. This attack is designed to restrain. And so he's just doubling down. And what he's doing now is he's just separating you guys and pulling you farther away from each other so that you're just starting to be around the tree and pulled up into its boughs like little acorns. I'm just going to check my little notes here. Missy and Mymac, you just subbed for 4 months in advance, and I'm sending you 3, count them,
Amy Mac.
virtual kisses, Miss Amy Mac. 1, 2, 3. Catch them if you want or let them blow out the window. They're yours to do with as you please. Okay.
That's so cute.
Okay, so here's what happens. We're going to drop out of initiative for just a moment on Eston's / the Skull's turn, because they're kind of operating on 2 different ones. As you're pulled farther away, Eston, you can see now that his legs, his feet aren't even touching the ground. He's floating a little in the air. And it looks like it's because his body's having trouble responding, but the green flames are carrying him forward and keeping him animated. You get the distinct impression that you guys just beat the shit out of Eston, but this skull's not letting it really stick. It's not healing him, however. It seems to be drawing on his pain and the blood and the wounds. And the skull says, I haven't seen a capable band of anything in a very, very long time. In fact, I feel like this was a nice little warm-up. And for that, instead of killing you, I will reward you. And he looks through and lands on you, Triss, who's now hanging upside down, and says, he points to the arrow in his back and says, yours, I believe.
Well, technically, yes.
And Eston floats over to you and places a hand on your forehead, which has been raised up so that he might easily reach. You can feel, Triss, that his flesh does not touch you. There's that barrier of green flame, and rather than being hot and burning you, it is quite cold. Through your mind flutters a couple quick images. It seems as though he's flipping through your memories. There's a little bit of Jer, Portuak, etc., but these come by very quickly as he starts to realize that that's a ruse and hits on your estate and your mother and father and galas and balls and parties and all of your resentment towards it. And he says, you see, mortals, they have such a hard time anticipating the cause of things. This lifestyle you resent, Triss. You buck against your family, but your family has nothing to do with it.
What is that supposed to mean? Also, hello, I feel very violated right now. So please get out of my head.
Right. He takes his hand off. He says, I've learned enough. It's the source that matters. And when you have been around for as long as I've been around, you get very good at identifying the source. The power structure that you seek to buck against has nothing to do with your family, Triss. Rather, the power structure of the very island on which they reside. They are but cogs as part of a much smaller machine. So, I think I'll go to the source, and I'll dismantle the machine from there. And once that happens, all of these changes will trickle down until they free you of these binds of nobility. How does that sound?
Well, I was actually doing pretty good on my own, thank you very much. I just don't want to marry Buttons, and
What was that? He puts another hand on your head. For just a moment, you get a view of someone saying, I too like to eat. And then he takes his hand off of you. And he says, perfect. If you guys remember, there was a setup of mirrors which caught moonlight, and you could imagine sunlight, though you haven't been here during the day, and carried that light down through the tower to illuminate it. There's a couple of the mirrors up here, and they're rather large because they're the main source of the light. And when Eston points at one of them, a lick of green flame spins it around so all of you can see. And at first, Triss, and the rest of you, because you're hanging nearby, and as he's been speaking, you've been kind of carried in your little vine pods closer. You can see that you're all reflected in the mirror until the flame kind of ripples over it. And then you see that you're actually looking at a person. And Triss, you recognize Button. Seemingly from your lips, he's been conjured, or at least his image has, in this mirror. He's tying a rather complex cravat and getting ready in some fine clothes, but cannot otherwise seem to see you in the way that you all can see him.
This is kind of the opposite of a reward, if you ask me.
Not at all, I assure you. Not only will I dismantle the nobility you so desperately seek to escape, I may end up taking care of this problem as well.
Look, I don't want to hurt anybody. Also, I don't trust you, like at all. Look what you almost did. You almost killed us all. So if this has something to do with like blowing up everything or killing everybody that's in my life, I will pass. Thanks. Goodbye.
Oh, not everyone. Just the Duchess.
No! Wait.
The Duchess would be the ruler of the entire island. Your family, as a baroness and baron, split half of the duties, and would both, your family would answer to her. She would be the focal point of nobility on the island, the highest ranked royalty.
But I don't want her hurt.
It will be rather painless. And with that, the skull leaps off of Eston's head. He nearly collapses. The skull turns to him and says, flee. And he scuffles and crawls and scrambles towards the stairs, leaving a trail of blood behind him, but he does escape. And then the skull says, I will let you all live for as long as you can enjoy it. And in return for this nice little warm-up, I think I will assassinate the Duchess. Toodles! And the skull plops into the mirror, and you can see Botan, who's doing the cravat, stop for a second, and then look directly at you guys and wave, and then walk out of the mirror. And then it shows the greenhouse again.
Shit.
What? Wait, he inhabited Botan? What? That makes things so much worse.
You brought him up. I wasn't even thinking about Botan, but you brought him up. I think you're obsessed.
No,
Honestly.
I said I don't want to marry him. That was the biggest thing. Also, you went in my head. Ugh.
But look on the bright side. Now we can kill him if you want to, and there's less regret.
Look, nobody said anything about killing anybody. I was having a really great time.
I apologize. It's probably the blood going to my head right now, which is causing
You
me a
are
deadly
all
thought.
hanging upside down in these spiky vines of this
No.
tree.
Anyone have any good games we can play while we're hanging upside down for a while? I don't really know what else we can do.
Oh, aye, let's play my favorite game. Let's get the hell out of here.
I don't know how to play that game right now in this position.
No.
With the way that you are right now, it seems that with the exit of the green skull and the mirror returning to normal, the vibrancy of these conjured plants is lessening. It would not be difficult to cut yourselves down.
Then let's do that.
Am I still greased up? Can I just wiggle my way out of this like tube of vine? Like I
Yeah.
have not showered for sure. So
Yeah, you can definitely.
Covered in lard.
You actually
Okay.
kind of look like, you know, like leaves and pine needles and twigs and stuff have all stuck to you because you're still kind of
Yeah.
like tacky. But yeah, you can. I would have
Great.
given you advantage on your next check. You guys are all free from the vines. You're welcome to free yourselves in whatever slippery fashion you desire.
All right.
Wow. Well, this has been extremely exciting. I don't know about you guys. I could really use a nap.
Oh yes. Actually, we haven't slept.
So now that he's gone and the vines have changed, is everything coming back to life?
No, the only time it did is when you threw a little water on it, but you can still feel somebody roll. I feel like probably just Arcana again. Now that you've seen what the fuck is going on around here, whoever wants to can roll Arcana.
20.
Okay, yeah, Argus, I will tell you exactly what's going on.
Thank you.
Argus, you have been around. You can tell that the source of the darkness that's been in this place, a large portion of it was that entity that just escaped, but there is a substantial amount left here as though it were part of the prison, the anchor, like the tower itself has been corrupted over who knows how long, as that magic has just seeped into this place. You wouldn't imagine that it will be cleansed without aid anytime soon. This is a bad place. I don't know that any of you have ever been to a place this magical, especially this kind of dangerous magical.
We should probably get out of here, if anything else. I have a feeling that there's some pretty messy stuff still afoot.
But don't we need a flower to take?
Yeah, are there any like crusty little remains of the flower where it used to be?
Right.
There was in the basin.
Yeah.
There is still the water that Argus poured there and made swirl around. When Eston cast his spell, there was that bell that some of you heard, and the blast from it crumbled the flower, but there is like a skin of powdery flower remains on the water if you guys want to like scoop it out.
I can.
Anyone bring a sift?
I'm gonna cast Shape Water on the water itself that's still in the basin, and the water will form into ice, and so we can actually pick the entire thing of water out if we wanted to. And
that is a very elegant solution, and it works. When you cast it, Argus, you can see that those crystals that were on the basins before that activated, once the spell was complete, they'd stopped. But again, when Argus cast this, there's like one of them lights up and has the conjuration symbol carve into it. They just seem to resonate with magic, but you're able to scoop it up. You have the remains of the flower.
You know, a flower, regardless of whether it's burned or frozen, is still a flower, just in a different form.
The man who thinks the
I
ocean.
made that up.
Does anyone else think we should go after Eston? That guy clearly knew something that we didn't. He can't have gotten far. He has like 1/3 of his blood. So can we just real quick, just
Yes.
like grab a vine and like lasso him maybe?
I have about 1/5 of my blood left right now.
All right.
Ooh, also same. Can we do some healing?
I can't heal anybody right now. I'm bleeding too much. Just to
Oh
be really honest. I mean, I don't know. The magic still feels pretty powerful here. I'm not sure if we can take some time to relax in any way.
Yeah, you guys have been in Harskarn long enough now for me to just tell you the chances of you getting a rest while in the swamp is probably very slim.
no. All right.
We should probably get out of the swamp as quickly as possible, then take a quick nap, and then get on our way to get back as fast as we possibly can.
All right.
I don't know about you. I want to get out of this swamp real bad.
Right.
Oh no, that's still my favorite game. Let's find this bleed.
Oh, that was the game. I get it now.
Yeah, sure. You guys head down the tower, dodging the traps that you saw on your way up, and you can see that Naomi's door that she opened through the wall is still there in front of the entrance to this place, and you are able to exit no problem. But when you step through, you hear a grinding of stone as the door closes, reforming that very slick wall. You should note that much like you anticipated before, looking over the wall, you cannot see the tower. You cannot see anything. There is some heavy enchantment going on here.
All right.
All right.
Ugh.
You guys leaving this one?
Yeah, good riddance. What a dump. I hate plants now. I never thought that
There's
would
like a
happen.
small
It's so funny. I grew up
pod.
around the woods my entire life, and I actually hate plants too a little bit. Ugh.
As you guys are saying this, there's like these little weeds that are around the wall. They're these little pods. And when Naomi's like, yeah, what a dump. And you're like, yeah, I hate plants too. They just go, and they shoot little seeds at you, dealing no damage. But
Hey, come on.
But we'll end up getting Flip the Bird by a plant.
We walk off. I whisper to them, I was just kidding.
they like,
One of them goes, feed me.
all right. So if you guys are leaving this swamp, you guys are leaving the swamp?
Yeah.
Hey.
Okay. I feel that. Thankfully, the husks of trees and ropey tangles of vines come to an end after quite the walk. But the ground begins to sag and wiggle and suck on your feet more and more with each step. With the plants out of the way, a bog opens up before you. It stinks and has a green, soupy texture. About 100 yards away on the other side of this, you see a strip of sunlight. Whatever's going on in Harskarn, it's been dark and gloomy and nasty enough that there's a chance it's daytime and you just didn't know it. But you do see a strip of sunlight, which are highlighting a scatter of pine trees. And there have not been very many pine trees in Harskarn, so that's a good sign. And over there, the ground appears to be much firmer. And again, you feel that dangerous drug, hope. How do you want to cross this bog?
Oof, how wide is it?
It's like you can imagine it being like a moat. It just seems to. It's like, hey, you guys trying to leave the swamp? Good luck. It's like the last obstacle of this place before you can get to the sunlight.
Are there logs around? Can we fashion?
There
a
are logs
boat?
around. In fact, they catch your eye. I got a little note about that.
I was gonna say maybe we should throw the gnome, but you know,
Why not? It's been a weird day.
I
Gnome
know.
tossing.
There's logs.
Oh, we might miss. You're a little greased up still.
You guys can see that there are logs jutting out of this mire. And as you start to look at them, you can see that most of the wood here is petrified or hollowed. It looks like these have been broken down, many of them to their stumps. It does not look like deadfall or anything like that. It looks like somebody's been cutting down trees in Hariskarn, which, Triss, you would know is not a common practice. Having just a little bit of an idea of kind of the way that the economy shakes out around here, being plugged into it. But yeah, it looks like a lot of these trees have been chopped down and their trunks are not here, so they've been hauled out.
recently chopped down? Like the wood's not totally dried out, or it is dried?
Oh, I think that there's a smattering of it. It would be hard work. And so, like there are some places that look like the tree must have been chopped down months ago, and then others where it looks like it was just a matter of weeks.
What happened to these trees?
Would you like to do some weird druidic stuff to find out, Argus?
You're gonna lick it?
I don't even know if I can. I'm gonna hold on to the stump and kind of cry a little bit, to be honest.
Oh, it's like the
Why?
giving tree all over again.
Is there any sign of like a large circling bird with weird lumps all over it that we could ask maybe?
Yes, there is. As that thought comes to your mind, first I'm going to give Argus something. You just get like a death rattle from this stump, some memory it's been clinging to before finally giving up. And it is the impression of axes, of chopping, of labor. It was not this was not an accident or an act of nature. There was axes here. But yeah, Naomi, you look up into the canopy and you see
What is this cat's name?
I can't remember that.
Surefire the Destructor.
Yeah, that's the guy. My old pal.
Yeah, you see a raven, rather large, that's covered in blight, so much so that an entire half of its face and one of its eyes is covered. And they say, "What are you looking at, short stack?"
Hey, listen, I've recently had some sensitivity instruction about shortness bias, and I just want to say I resent that very much. That said, do you mind telling us what's been going on here? Who's been coming in and cutting down the trees?
Fools. Any
Can
who
you be
work
more
in these-
specific?
They remind me of you. Any who work in this forest know better and choose to operate within the dangers.
Yeah.
Now, I've got business to attend to, so we'll
You-
need to make this quick.
Well, what were they wearing? How were they dressed? Were they using axes? Were they human? Were any details at all?
I know I made a joke earlier, but they do actually remind me of you. Not just you. The raven kind of gestures broadly to the rest of the party with their wing and says, all of you.
So they're dirty.
Filthy.
Tired.
Tired.
Bleeding.
Bleeding. But
Inches
also
from
equipped
death.
to fend off some of the dangers of this forest. They were carrying weapons, not unlike your own, though they also had tools for the labor they provided. Now, I only give you these answers as a kindness. I feel I now owe you, my little gnomish friend. You've done me a great kindness.
Me? What, the marble? That was no big deal.
I do cherish the marble.
It's
But
a
the
good one,
kindness I
right?
speak of is far larger than that.
Oh, what did I do?
You freed my master.
The mouse? Or
Not Meeples. And honestly, I couldn't imagine that jury coming to a not guilty verdict. I must go soon. I've work to do in the capital.
okay, so all right. So your master resided in the tower, is that right? And
Indeed.
okay, when you say freed, where is your master now?
He's difficult to track when on business, but I am being drawn towards the large human settlement by the mountains.
And that's in which direction? That one, the in the mountains direction.
Southeast.
Uh-huh. Wow.
Uh,
Well, it's a pleasure to have rendered this service to your master. That's that's totally why we were here, and we've completed our quest. So you're welcome, and we'll see you around.
Wonderful. If you seek to learn more about the ones who chop these trees, you'll find them on the road for thieves. And when the raven alights, they fly off towards the southeast. Triss, you know that that is the direction of the capital, if they are speaking the truth, where the Duchess resides.
Okay, if you're done talking to your friend, should we take a nap?
You are not technically out of Horoskarn. You
No,
have yet to
no.
cross the bog.
Just try to pull it off.
Really tired.
I'm gonna go log hopping.
Yeah, roll it. Give me acrobatics. Anybody who's exhausted is going to be making these skill checks at disadvantage. But go and do some acrobatics there, Argus.
All the way across?
Yeah, let's do it. Come on, log hopping. Here we go.
Let's do it.
21 for me. Come on,
All
Elf,
right.
log hop.
Wait,
Argus floats across the bog, hopping from one stump to the next as though they're stepping stones, and then lands like a fucking gangster on the other side and does a little stomp. Who's next?
I rolled a 21
How are you doing it?
on disadvantage. I was thinking just because you did it so gracefully, I'm gonna just do cartwheels.
Yeah,
The
for sure.
entire way. Just for fun.
Iritran cartwheels across the logs and lands also like a gangster next to Argus.
Well done. Not necessary, but well done.
are we rolling at disadvantage?
Are you sleepy?
I've been sleepy this whole mission.
Then yes.
Oh, a 9.
What was it you were trying to do?
I was trying to like run and then jump on a log and like surf it through the bog to the other side.
Sure. You run towards the log, and right before you jump, you slip and fall into the soupy green water.
No.
You are soaking wet and covered in algae, but then you are able to make a cross without falling in again. But it doesn't seem to have mattered at that point.
I hit a 16, and I was gonna try and just like log roll, like run on the rolling log, like across the bog.
With a 16, you manage, but it takes like 7 minutes. And so everybody just stands there on the other bank and watches as Naomi like speed walks a log.
You say it takes 17 minutes.
7. But that is for a log rolling. What,
That's
3
still
people just
pretty
sitting there
long.
watching you? That's a long time.
Oh God! Like how it feels when someone watches you parallel park.
She
It's
really
like
needs to work on her technique.
Uh,
I
you
mean, her
guys,
feet are moving really fast for a gnome.
on the other end of the bog, you come to a hill, and you can tell that you are just about out of the swamp. There is one final obstacle. There is a river here. And there is it's not massive, but it's no small feat. And there is a bridge that is broken, which crosses over the top.
How broken? Like not even connecting, or is just like one is like
There's a gap in the middle.
how treacherous is this river?
Why don't you roll investigation?
Don't mind if I do. Wow. Okay. That's a 23.
Oh, very good.
Okay. Naomi, as you approach, you can see that I'm gonna let Triss has a bit more knowledge about this area, and so with that high of a roll, I'm gonna give you some stuff that she would know as you approach too.
Sure.
This would be, if you are where you think you are, the river that leads to the sea. You would imagine that it would have a very fast current, but it isn't moving at all. It's dead water. It is standing completely still. And you can tell that this is or may make the border of Horuskarn on this side of the forest.
Is it still water in like a dammed way or like an unnatural enchanted way?
How do you want to find out?
I don't know. What's the vibe?
Go and
It's a
protect.
creepy vibe.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. I'll take that. That's a good vibe check. Thank you.
Yeah, it's like silent here. You would expect to hear reptiles or amphibians, insects, like all kinds of shit. No ducks on the water, no bugs buzzing around it. There seems to be what looks like a lot of mosquito eggs in the water, but it's almost as though they're in stasis because there are no bugs outside of it.
We've got a really good eyesight to be able to see mosquitoes from the. Wait, are we? So the bridge is up there.
Oh, I imagine that Naomi was like on the bank, like looking at it.
Okay.
How high above the water does the bridge go?
Probably 4 or 5 feet. It's not a huge bridge, not a huge river.
Okay. I would like to walk up to the hole that's in the middle of the in the middle of the in the middle of the bridge,
Mhm.
and I would like to reach with my 5 feet of actual distance the spell actually covers, and cast Shape Water, pull the water up into a column of ice that's just right in the middle of it, so we could hop from the column to the other side without having to worry as much about doing some crazy acrobatics.
And after
Yeah.
that,
I mean, it's gonna.
That's 5 feet, so that's my distance I can shape water in.
Oh yeah, I mean, like this, it's gonna work, but I just feel like something would happen here. Argus, when you reach out to assess this water and interact with it, it's like some of the trees that you felt in the forest. There's an absence there, but the magic compensates for that and sculpts it, even though you can't really get a feel for it. But as it rises in this column of ice to cover that, you can see black smoke starting to peel off of it. It's a slow reaction, but whatever your magic is doing to this dead water is starting to call forth some of those creatures that you've seen in the desert.
Oh my.
But with this hole patched, you will all be able to quickly cross if you'd like.
I'd definitely like to. I'm done with this place.
Okay, yeah. Argus, when you release the spell, the ice melts back into water and cascades down into the river. There is a moment where a ripple happens and then it just cancels itself out. And that black smoke collects on the top like mist and then disperses back into the water.
There's some heavy magic afoot.
Yeah, I do not like this creepy river, you guys.
No, I do not like any of the creepiness that we've gone through. That is not natural. That is not natural to life.
We shouldn't use the river to clean ourselves.
No.
I feel like that would backfire in a horrifying way.
Unless, of course, you like to clean yourself in cursed waters.
No, yeah, no.
That's an adventure for another day. Clean yourself in cursed water.
That's the bonus content.
Yeah. Side quest.
All right, so as you guys head out, I mean, we're talking like 10, 15 feet away from this bridge. You feel that weight, that emotional drain that Horuskarn had over you just kind of ebb away. And you are now very tired in a regular way, but you no longer feel that oppressive psychic assault. Triss, roll perception.
Am I still at disadvantage?
You are. Gold.
4.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's at
you bonk
disadvantage.
yourself in
Force
the eye.
to 4. What did you say?
I said you poke yourself in the eye. No, you're not
Cool. Do
entirely
I lose
sure.
a hit point? Because that'll kill me.
No. You guys, Triss, you don't have a great idea of where you are. But based on the river, if you were right about that being the one that goes to the sea, this could be the hill lands. It's a place with not as bad of a reputation as Haraskarn, but because it borders the area and there's not much use for the land, there's not even really any contest over who gets it because it's just kind of a shitty place. What you do see, though, this doesn't take a high perception check, is that those trees that you had seen cut down kind of sporadically that you used to hop across there, there's been much more logging in this area. The trees themselves aren't great, and they are still a bit petrified, but they're not hollowed out like many of the ones that were in Haraskarn proper. These are just ancient old trees that had a hard time being here and have been dead for a long time. But there's just a lot more stumps.
So logging has been happening out here and it's not normal?
No, it wouldn't be because
it's not good
nobody
wood.
would. Yeah, like there's other forests where logging happens. This is like nasty wood, a nasty place.
Right. It's a little bit odd. I get a feeling that things are going to be a little bit different. What was the name of the thing that inhabited Eston?
The thing?
Yeah.
I've just been referring to it as like the green skull.
The green skull.
It's more of a descriptor than a proper noun. It's not like capital T, capital G.
There might be a ripple effect from whatever green skull did. I don't know why it would be here with the trees, but it's definitely odd.
Argus
Can we rest here?
Oh, sorry.
Can we rest here?
Yes, you can.
Argus has a reaction where he looks at everything and it's like Ace Ventura when nature calls, when they walk into the room with all the animals, like just it's okay, we can rest here. This is a beautiful plain of death, but that's okay.
Yeah, you can rest here. So what was happening in Haraskarn, you're not there anymore. There's no reason to be deceptive about it. What was happening in Haraskarn is that the very place itself was almost assaulting you psychically and preventing you from getting good rest. That feeling has passed. It's like night and day, and it is starting to get dark in these hills. It's rough country. The ground is hard, and the hills seem to go on for some time, but many of the trees have been chopped down. And again, their trunks aren't here. It does look like a logging operation, though one, not a very large one. Like, it's not the Walmart of logging operations. It just looks like maybe a small group of people have been working on this for a long time.
Mom and pop chop shop.
A mom and pop chop shop.
Maybe there'll be houses or something, or cabins somewhere close.
We could lie on the ground here and just crash for a few hours if you wanna.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're welcome to. Do you guys want to tell me how you would go about making camp? The thing is, like, we don't need to belabor it, but I do feel like because adventurers in D&D make camp so often, there is a rhythm to it. Is there anything in particular that sets your guys' camp situation apart? If you just want to give me, like, if you each just want to contribute an idea to your camp, that can entail watches, etc.
Well, we have a nice disco ball that we keep.
Okay.
Who
Who carries it, Iratran?
Oh, I do.
That's why when you were hopping, cartwheeling across the logs, there was these like rays of godlight just cascading out of your belt pouch.
Wow.
I cartwheel because I was feeling the disco ball in my pocket.
Sure.
But in all honesty, I felt like I took the first watch last time we took a rest, so I think I'll be taking a rest this time.
I'll take the first watch. That's fine.
Okay.
I'll get some firewood.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a tinderbox. I can help you light it.
Yeah, it takes you guys a while. The petrified wood burns really funny, but it does catch. It almost burns like charcoal, or I think more like regular coal. It's very dense. The flame's not very big, but once it gets going, the coals are quite warm. And much
I think
to your
I
relief-
also noticed that Argus seems a little twitchy because of all the death and carnage, and so I'm gonna also just quietly cast minor illusion on one of the trees to like make like 4 little leaves spread out of one of the stumps.
It works.
Great.
I don't know if it works to help him, but there are 4 leaves that sprout out of the trunk.
It's a minor illusion, right? So if as soon as I interact with it, it's going to change. All right. I don't want to touch it because it seems so fragile, but I'm going to have a conversation with those 4 leaves.
I'm gonna let Naomi take it from here.
You must be new here.
Yes, I am. You also seem very, very new here, little ones. Are you comfortable? Do you need anything?
No, this is pretty great. Look at all this real estate.
Well, it is a very large, spread out place, but I don't think the previous owners went willingly.
No, I think they did a terrible job with the upkeep. This is going to be a nightmare to renovate.
Well, but at least look at you. You look healthy and sprite-like, and hopefully you will grow to be large and tall and take over all this real estate. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we can dream big, but you got to start where you're at. So I'm just happy to be having a conversation with you.
Oh, I'm just happy to be having a conversation with you. I mean, you can't even have a conversation with yourself, but you're only 4 leaves old.
Yeah, I know. We can get a pretty good game of pickup basketball going, though.
Really? Between the 3 or 4 leaves? That's great.
Yeah, a little 2-on-2.
That's adorable. I don't even know what basketball is.
Oh, it's a long story, but man, it's riveting. Buckle up.
Hey, riveting buckles. Got it. That's funny. Well, listen, we're going to take camp right over here. If you need anything, just let us know. I'll be right here to take care of you. And congratulations on the new life and all the real estate that you're looking at. There's a lot of stories here that will never get told.
Yeah, that's true. But you got to start over sometimes. And hey, I just want to say, I believe in you. So like, just take that for what it's worth.
You need to have as much foliage as possible in your life. That's nice.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right, bye.
All right. The campfire crackles. Argus feels better after that very interesting thing that happened. And then I think that we go a couple hours into the first watch here. Iratran, actually, what's the watch rotation? Who's gonna take last watch is what I'm asking.
I'll take last watch.
Iratran, you only need 4 hours of sleep to get to full, and I only need 4 hours of sleep to get to full, so...
Right. So I'll take the last
The
watch.
2 of us just switching off.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's heal
All
from
right.
it.
So you all cycle through, and just as the sun is starting to come up, Iratran, you're the only one who's awake, and you hear what sounds like the squeak of an old wheel. It's coming from a couple hills away.
I have full HP now that I've all
You guys all receive a full rest. You get your HP back, and you get all of your spell slots.
Oh,
I was
it's
so
Christmas.
worried about that. That was that was the main thing. I was like, so I got my HP back, right?
Praise the sun.
Wow.
If there was a way to describe how we'd be feeling in terms of feeling like we're getting stronger over the period of all these adventures that we're having, how strong are we feeling?
I will let you know when you level up.
I didn't say that. I just said stronger. But okay.
Oh, well, you feel stronger.
We've been through some harrowing experiences. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've seen some shit.
I mean, if there was a point system involved here in any way, shape, or form.
I'm tracking stuff. I'm tracking all kinds of stuff. You guys. Okay.
So
You're trying to hear a squeaky wheel a couple hills away. This is just a place of rolling hills. Picture the dirt, dry, cracked. The grass here is sparse and long and yellow and dead. and these hills just kind of roll and roll and roll. But from a couple of them away, you do hear the squeaking of a wheel, Irritran.
All right, I'm gonna go with some perception to see exactly like what is that mine high elf ears detect. My high elf ears.
Sure. You won't need to roll perception to just hear that it is obviously not a natural noise. It is probably some kind of wheel squeaking.
Yeah.
And as you listen closer, you can actually hear the rattle of what might be a cart. From where you're at, you can't see anything. You'll need to get closer if you'd like to see it.
Well, first I'd like to wake up Argus to make sure that somebody's going to be able to
Yeah.
get up.
What?
Get up. I have to investigate something.
Little foliage. What? Huh? What are we doing?
Are you awake? I need you to stay watch while I check out.
I'm awake. Okay. Sure. I'm fine. I'm awake.
You had me fooled there. All right, and then I go check out the wheel noise.
I go to check out I get to go check out the 4 little leaves.
Naomi, are they still there?
Yeah, I've been awake the whole time watching you sleep.
Isn't that wonderful? You're already taking care of things. Look at you.
Irritran, how do you want to go about this?
All right, we're going full stealth mode. I'm gonna try and get a nice high advantage place from one of the hills, but where they can't see me, so I can look down.
Sure. Roll stealth.
All right. 9.
You head their direction, and you feel pretty stealthy, and you crawl up to what must be the last hill before. When you get up to it, army crawl style, you can see that there is a road here. It looks incredibly old and unkept, but it is a road. Let me just check my notes here. Yeah. You can see that there is a cart that's been stripped down to just some side railings. And on top of it, there is a mound of petrified wood. Walking alongside, there are 2 people in cloaks, the hood's up, and they are leading an ox, which is pulling the cart.
All right. I'm going to try and... I'm going to go ahead and talk to them and see if they could direct us to the capital.
Sure. When you start to stand up, your head comes against something pointy.
Ooh.
Well, that there'd be a surprise.
Yeah. I recall somebody rolled a 9 on their stealth check recently.
I was feeling very confident, though.
So you stand up and you turn around to see that there is an elf woman wearing the same cloak and hood as those before. She has what looks like maybe just a scarf tied around the bottom of her face as a makeshift mask, and she's holding a bow and arrow pointed at you. And she says, "Good morning."
Top of the morning to you. It's a nice bow you have there.
Thank you. Argus, what kind of bow do you have?
I have a short bow. It's kind of traditional to my people. It's a natural wood color. There's nothing ornate about that, but it is the color is not unnatural, but the wood itself is kind of finished with like etchings of almost leaves and branches onto the actual wood itself. Like it makes it look more like a natural branch, but just concaved correctly more for a bow shape.
The bow in this woman's hand, Irritran, it is not an exact copy of Argus's, but it has many of the same touches in the design.
That looks very familiar. My friend has something very similar.
Who do you travel with?
Many people. Who do you travel with?
She nods to the ox cart, and then she nods to your right, and you can see crouched into a higher tuft of grass, there is a young boy who's rather skinny, dressed in a rattier version of the same outfit with a what would he have? He has he has a blow dart thing aimed at you.
That's cute there, kid. Thank you. I'm very afraid of that one there. Well,
and he says, I wouldn't be. It's definitely not poisoned.
I trust him innately. So
For your party, she says.
Over there, we just escaped our Harskarn.
That name catches her off guard, and she says, escaped?
Aye.
Nobody makes it out of the swamp.
Everyone says that, and yet here we are.
Perhaps we should gather our parties and find out what's our best move here.
I think the best move might be get that arrow out of my face.
She takes a step back, but does not lower the bow. She does whistle, and the two that are at the cart approach. And it's obvious that they had weapons at the ready. Whatever is going on here was coordinated. So they were just pretending to walk this little cart. But they do approach as well. Everybody's got masks on. And they do surround you, Iratran. There's just a second as a quick conversation goes by. I'm going to make a call here. Let me look at your fucking thing. Iratran. Let me just see what you got here.
Take a look.
They speak a shorthand to one another, Iratran, that you do not understand, but you've heard it. It is a familiar language to you. You've heard it in some of the divier places and some of the back alleys of some of the ports that you've been to in the past. It is a shorthand, and they speak it fluently. And then one of them steps forward and says, well, I think you should tell us where the rest of your party is so we can get this all sorted out, don't you? This person is a male, and they are holding two small curved daggers.
I have a hard time introducing you to my party when you have so many weapons at the ready.
Of course. He puts his blades away. The youth lowers the tube. The other person has a sword, Iratran. It's a very pretty sword, though very minimalistic. You can see that it's been used often, though it has been taken care of with competent hands. They too sheath the blade, but the bow stays on you. And the leader says, you'll understand if we would like to be careful this far out into the hill country. As long as you are not aggressive towards myself or my friends, this weapon will not need to stay on you. But for the time being, if you'll forgive me, I'd prefer that we play it cool.
Oh, I get that. How about we keep the arrow knocked and less drawn?
Okay. You get a reluctant closing of that gap, but they are still on you. And they are asking to meet your party.
I direct them to the party.
Sure. The rest of you, as you are waking up, see Iratran coming in, and he is being tailed by 4 figures in cloaks, hoods, and face masks. One of them has a bow and arrow, and the others have weapons, but none of them are drawn. Everything else is sheathed for the most part.
How far away are they when we see them coming? Could I turn into something before they get close enough to notice?
Oh yeah, for sure. What do you want to
Okay,
turn
great. A pile of firewood.
into? Done. It doesn't take a roll, right? You just are that thing.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, you are a pile of firewood.
great.
I think it is vaguely Naomi shaped if seen at the right angle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when they get here, they see that you guys are rested but still beaten up, and their leader, there's a lot of NPCs. I'm going to just try and run this whole thing through their leader, but if you guys want to have any conversations to start with any of the other members, feel free to let me know. But their leader comes up and says, it's not many who take this road. In fact, very few.
Well, that was redundant.
Oh, so this is why you ran off and left me talking to the little foliage and the. And then I look over and see that Naomi has turned into firewood and go, and the firewood?
I had to make some new friends.
Oh, ouch. Well then.
Well, you
Welcome.
know me.
Thank
I'm
you.
Charming. Everyone loves my rapier wit. Anyway,
Could I? Excuse me. Could you tell me what's happened with the Duchess?
This gets a strange look from the leader, who says, your accent. Where are you from?
Oh, somewhere up north. It's not really important.
Right. I don't know much about the Duchess or her doings.
But she's okay. Phew.
We have not been near to news for the past week or so, but when I left, she was fine.
Right.
You have to understand, this is a very strange line of questioning. If I could just get the name of your group here.
Oh.
well, I'm here, Tran.
Oh, I'm hello. I'm Argus, and yeah, I was getting to that. And I follow Iratran.
Aye.
When you start speaking, Argus, you can see that the person who's had the bow and arrow on Iratran up until now shifts her focus to you, and her posture stiffens quite a bit.
Did she turn the bow on me?
Not overtly, but it is kind of shifted in your quadrant of the campsite. It's not aimed right at you.
Where did you get that bow?
I owe you no answers, traitor.
I hold up my bow. And I say, you may owe me no answers, but my honor and your identity request it.
She pulls down her face mask and takes the hood off, Argus, and it is a face that you know from your past.
Oh shit.
This is an elf by the name of Marizoka. And she says, your honor was extinguished a long time ago, Argus.
And I smile and say, my honor left with you and my son. My honor, my heart left with you. I've been looking all over since I left the tribe, wondering where you two may have gone. And here you are. No, that she's here. That means that you're here too, right? Right?
She says, she does give you a strange look when you start talking over your shoulder. This is something she's never seen you do before. She says, your honor and your heart did us little good. The lessons you imparted to Hume were that of selfishness, and your actions in freeing us, though we didn't know at the time, have left our people in shambles. They spill each other's blood. The truce is broken, Argus, and it is because of your actions.
What? I left in order to maintain the truce.
It wasn't good enough. Had they found you, maybe. Had the blood oath been fulfilled, had you been killed, maybe. But now, we see no peace.
How would you
I
know
find
all
none
of-
in the human civilization. I find none when I go home. I am an outsider.
How would you know all of this? You were never to come back.
We had to. Well, I did. Hume is nothing. I could not stay with him. And when I tried to return home, I found only bloodshed.
What do you mean by Hume is nothing?
He is his father's son.
Say that again?
He is his father's son.
And I quietly sit down. And don't
She
say
steps
another
back and pulls her mask up. The leader has just been standing there. Like, everybody's just been standing there listening to this and just saying, like, right, well, well, I'm Vats. He pulls down his mask and takes off his hood. And you can see that he's a rather handsome looking human, male, about your age, Triss. You're the only human here. Yeah, about your age. The others also take off their hood. The youth says, I'm Roaches. And then the person with the sword, who is also a female, takes off her hood and her mask, and you can see that she is a half elf. And she says, my name is Zanzal. And you are facing what appears to be an adventuring party. And the leader, Vats, says, so, what are you doing here on the Smuggler's Road?
Well, that's. We went to get the nightshade.
Nightingale.
The nightingale. Sorry.
Silvershade Nightingale.
Silvershade Nightingale. I'm a little scatterbrained. It's been a long trek.
I
It's
don't
a
know what that
mouthful.
is.
Silvershade Nightingale. Aye. Well, we were ambushed by an evil deity. With green eyes, it was. A floating skull. Anyway, so yeah.
Mm.
And we made our way back barely.
Oh, we never talked about Eston and his two dudes. They were gone. I just meant to say, like, you guys messed around with the getting the flower dust off the thing and like cutting each other down long enough that when you guys got down, they were gone. They had escaped into the swamp. I just wanted to clear that up. All of this stuff that you're telling to him, Iratran, does not seem to. There's no recognition. You're welcome to roll insight if you'd like, but it seems like he just has no idea what you're talking about.
Well, then
Human doesn't.
None of them are responding to this. We do our best to avoid the inner portions of Haraskarn. Some of our endeavors have taken us into the periphery, but we are in and out. We just work quickly and leave.
That's an
I have
excellent choice.
no idea what you're talking about. I can see now that you must be a capable bunch, but we, Marizoka, put the bow away. I apologize. It is difficult to trust strangers on the smuggler's road, you understand.
I get it.
Right. We're just trying to make our way back to Port Walk, so it was lovely meeting you all.
Yes, you as well. We're actually headed to the capital. I thought that's where you might be headed if you were questioning us about the Duchess, but we are headed that direction.
Well, that is convenient. I mean, traveling partners couldn't hurt. We have a grave thing we must do. That green skull I spoke of. It's going to
Yes.
try and kill the Duchess.
I must say, you are a very strange group of people.
You have no idea.
I turn back into a gnome.
Good God! He jumps.
Hi. Sorry,
Marizoka's gotten the bow on
sorry.
you.
I know. Forgive the deception. I just, you'll forgive me. You came up on our camp. You were armed. You were with our friend here. He seemed outnumbered. I just, it seemed like the thing to do. But if we're going to be traveling together, no hard feelings. I'm Naomi. Nice to meet all of you. You guys seem like you have an interesting thing. Interested to hear more about that later. Shall we?
You are speaking to 4 people who have fluidly drawn every weapon on their person and had them leveled at you. When they see that your party's not surprised to see you, they do chill and put their weapons away. Marizoka actually puts the bow away as well. And they offer to walk with you to the capital. You guys will have a bit of time on the road with them. All 4 of them are available if any of you would like to talk to them. I think that they would be interested in talking to some of you, but I would first like to open it up to you. You're going to be on the Smuggler's Road. Actually, they do kind of bop some more of that shorthand around that Iratran heard earlier. Triss, you pick it up immediately. It's Thieves' Cant. They're speaking in it, and it is passing around. You can see that Vats is giving them orders. They're all very simple. It's about like marching order. They're bringing the cart with them, etc. But you guys are going to be on the road for a little while, and they're headed towards the capital. And so if you would like to go with them, they will bring you along. They make no promises for when you reach there of hanging out, nor are they offering to be your guys' friends or companions, but they're saying, hey, this road sucks, so if you're offering to like lend a few swords, we will lend some as well. We can head that direction.
Awesome. Maybe we catch a couple of ales when we get there. Shoot the shit.
You hit me up if we're free. Maybe we can.
Oof, ouch. Ouch.
Not my company.
But you guys are walking down the road. It's going to be a while. Any scenes that you have in mind that you would like? Any of the characters you would like to speak to? Otherwise, I'll just have them poke and prod you as you go. Yes, Argus, what's up?
I want to approach Marizoka again.
Sure. She's very hesitant. In fact, she tries to avoid you. That is not how the scene's going to end. You will have an opportunity to talk to her, but it takes some doing. But then you are walking alongside her, and she's doing her best not to look at you. In fact, all of the other travelers have lowered their mask. She keeps hers up.
This is not how I expected to see you again.
Nor I you. Though the oath hadn't been fulfilled, I guess I was hoping that you died.
Well, that's funny. Hearing from you how everything is going now, I'm wondering whether I should have. I imagine seeing you and my son and perhaps maybe something to carry on that line. But instead now I see you here alone telling me that my son is nothing to you. So all the sacrificing that we did is for naught. Is that what you're telling me?
It would seem, Argus, that your lessons of doing what you feel is right and thinking about yourself first hit a little close to home. Hume does well amongst the humans.
Does well amongst the humans. That's good to know. It's very interesting that you say we do for what we think for ourselves, because what I did and what Jackin agreed to do was not for ourselves, but for you two. And in that,
I realize that, Argus.
in that essence, we weren't thinking for ourselves, but rather for your happiness. We sacrificed so much for your happiness, and you tell me that it's selfish?
When you found us in the desert that day, when we were fleeing, and you allowed us to leave, it is what I wanted in the depths of my soul. But I was young, and I was a fool, and I could not fully grasp what was at stake. You'd brokered a truce between the northern and southern tribes, a feat many had tried, none had succeeded in. And yet, you allowed that to roll off your back as though it were nothing, so that you could save the lives of 2 elves?
You think that it meant nothing. Do you not know any of the lessons that I taught Hume over the years? I did not teach him about the needs of tribes. I taught him about the needs of nature and the circle of continuing life forward, about happiness, about fulfillment. And if anything else, one of the things that I taught him more than anything was the idea of pursuing his own truth. And he knew what his truth was. Whatever your choice was, I don't believe that played on him. And that if you're going to say that you were young and that was your choice to make, you're right, that was your choice. But don't tell me that my choices were selfish.
I just regret our actions, Argus.
Your grandfather.
We couldn't have known that our disappearance and yours would have cast our tribes into war, an endless one. Elf blood waters the trees of that forest now. And that blood is on your hands, and it is on mine.
I thought that by leaving, I would be saving so many lives. I thought that by leaving, that the truce would hold. I thought that by leaving, that there would be a chance for that peace to continue. What a waste. A waste of so much. I was hoping that Treadora would be able to convince the Higaldad to stop so that our tribes could live together in peace, but maybe you're right. Maybe it was a childish dream.
The truce was too fragile. It needed you there to see that it stayed. Your absence allowed it to break apart. I recognize that you were acting in a way you thought was honorable, and I believe that you believed it. But that doesn't change the fact that there were consequences that day.
So my son is now amongst some humans.
Yes.
Well, that could have been better. I prefer gnomes. At least they're happier. Humans are always so obsessed with what they can take and what they can get out of a agreement and conversation. Human society, I mean, humans as individuals, they're fine, but as a group, they don't understand life. They don't understand what I tried to teach him. Where did you leave him last?
When last?
Very clearly, where did you leave him last?
When last I saw Hume, he was in Erdekoa. But that was a long time ago.
Erdekoa. Good to know. So you've left him in the beginnings of a human territory that vastly, across the desert, on the far side of the desert. Okay. Well, at least it's good to know that he was still alive the last time you saw him. His memory is all I've had to talk to. for a long time.
She gives you a look, kind of recalling the conversation you were having over your shoulder, and then nods. But she seems uncomfortable. Anybody else? Any other conversations y'all are looking for?
Would like one with Eritran.
Yeah.
I think I walk up next to him. I know you guys all heard what happened with the Green Skull and what he said about me. And while I definitely am still not a princess, I am the daughter of a baroness, and I do disguise myself as Triss. And I know I probably should have told you at some point, and I probably would have. And I know you have your own mission that you're doing, and that saving the Duchess isn't... You don't have to do that. I have to. I have to go, again, I guess, square off against Buttons. He's awful. Trust me, he's really terrible. You're going to hate him.
You're obsessed.
Low-key really excited to meet this guy. No, but seriously, your secrets are your own. You don't have to tell me anything. You've just met me. And I was just, I was just speaking bilge when I called you a princess. I saw how you held your ale. Little pinky out. And I just thought you were just a highbrow. And then I saw you shoot an arrow in someone's throat. So I think...
And you shot off bollocks.
So I think you might be all right. But I'm with you. It was our actions who released this thing, so it is our actions who will have to fix it.
Really? I appreciate it. I don't think I could do it on my own. I really, really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And then I ruffle her hair.
It's all disgusting and matted. You just made it look even worse.
If you ever find yourself on a pirate ship, you'll understand how dirty a person can get.
A pirate ship? Could I really come on a pirate ship sometime?
You can sail with me anytime you want, little.
I will hold you to that.
Naomi, please make a perception check.
Okay. Yo-ho. Okay, 16.
You feel where are you keeping that moth wing?
In my pack, I suppose. It was kind of folded up like a pillowcase.
You feel the slightest ruffle in your pack. When you turn around, Roaches is in the midst of doing a now bungled, but what would have been a pretty decent pick. And you could see that he's got glitter on his fingertips. And he says, "Where'd you get that thing?"
I reach out and snatch it back. Nice try, kid. You don't kid a kidder. Fold it back up. It happens to come from an unspeakably giant, horrifying insect that my friends handily dealt with. No big deal. They're pretty great. Also, it's none of your business.
Sweet. You're right, probably. Look, man, how much you want for it?
Oh, not for sale. Look how glittery this thing is. Come on, forget about it.
What are you going to do with it? It's just a,
I don't know. Does everyone have a plan? No, I just want the glittery thing.
All right. Well, look. If you want it to be more than just a glittery thing, I might know a guy.
Go on.
To be clear, it's not really a guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a girl, but same thing.
Disagree, but okay.
He says, look, we've come across a few items of that repute ourselves. Never a glittery thing, but, I found sparkly things, sharp things, crystal things. We found some things.
Oh, so
And they
that's like
always
all my
seem to-
favorite kind of thing.
I know. They
Yeah.
always seem to drop out of those big, unspeakably evil monster things that you were talking about,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah. Well, we didn't know what to do with them for a while. We just had a big bag of things.
Yeah.
But there is somebody in town, if you're headed to the capital, who might be able to hook you up.
It in a taking the thing off our hands kind of way, or in a
No. They don't do anything on their own, they're hard to get rid of. But if you know what they are, you can make them into stuff.
Oh, you can make the things into stuff. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Roaches holds up the tube, the blowgun, and you can see as he rolls it around, it's not made of wood or a reed or anything like that. It actually looks like it's glistening in the little bit of sunlight that there is, and it looks like some kind of carapace, like an insect kind of carapace.
Wow.
Yeah.
What kind of
check
thing did
this
that
out.
fall out of?
Giant, huge beetle bug with big pinchers on the front, pinchers on the side, stinger on the back.
Wow, phenomenal.
Yeah. Check this out. And then he holds up the darts, and you can see that they're made of the same material, but they're obviously glowing with some kind of enchantment.
Roaches, you are my kind of guy. I gotta say, I really feel like I'm feeling one of these. So you can tell us where to go when we get there, to go to the place to make the things into stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, because this shit that you make out of it's really cool, and everybody should have something like this.
Yeah, see, I agree. Everyone should have a cool thing. And then some people just decide that other people's cool thing should be their cool thing. And then you get into a whole mess, and and then you're in a swamp, and it's a mess. So yeah, I totally feel you. Totally feel you on this.
Roaches reaches behind your ear like they're doing that dumb coin trick. But when he pulls his hand away, he's got a little cockroach in his hand.
Like an alive one?
An alive one. And he whispers to it and then holds it up to your ear. And it says, "The Reef. It's a market in the capital. And there's a specialist there who can turn that bit of moth into a full-fledged magic item." And he sees your eyes get wide. He's like, "I knew it! I knew you could talk to bugs."
Yeah. Oh yeah. Did I not mention that immediately? Yeah. That's totally a thing I do. All kinds of stuff, actually. Birds, mice who are being convicted of things, leaves. Yeah. It's exhausting sometimes. There's a lot of little critters in this world, but yeah. Wow. Do you just carry a cockroach around? What's your deal?
He opens his
You're a
cloak.
fascinating guy.
He opens his cloak, and there's several tea strainers that have been kind of safety pinned to the inside of it, and there's a couple different kinds of bugs in each. They don't have a lid on them or anything, and he just sets the bug back into the little tea strainer and closes it. And he's like, "It's my thing. That's why they call me Roaches. What's up?"
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm putting it together now. Wow. That's great.
Yeah, the last thing he tells you is that he just reiterates that the place is called The Reef. And when he says that it's a market, he says, "It's a market?" Yeah.
Yeah. Market.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
Great. Wow. Roaches, you've really made my day. Do you like marbles? Are you interested in
Love
marbles?
'em.
Oh my God. See, another thing. We're like this. Here, check this out. And I pull like a marble that's kind of the same thing as like a beetle's wing, that kind of iridescent, like black and green. I'm like, I feel like you would really appreciate this, and I would love for you to have this marble.
He takes it and just says, "Thanks," and just walks away, kind of staring at it. Triss, Vats sidles up next to you. And he says, "Was that mess that you're talking about the Duchess true?"
Yes, I'm afraid so. We sort of released something from the tower, and it said it was going to assassinate the Duchess, so I was worried that we were too late, but we might not be. We might still have time to prevent it from happening.
Interesting. Well, I hope you're wrong, if you don't mind me saying.
So do I. Do you live among elves?
No, just these elves, and one of them is only half. I live wherever the road takes me.
Really? That sounds so interesting. Have you always lived like that?
Oh, yes. I was born in the slums of Erdekoa, and I've had to make my way from the bottom to the middle where I currently reside.
What's your favorite place you've ever visited?
Well, have you ever been to the Enchanted Forest? It's not really enchanted. We say enchanted. Everyone else says cursed.
Cursed Forest, is that where we went through to get to the...
No. What's the name of your home forest there, Naomi, and your Argus? You're better at that game than me.
Oh, I try to remember. Irizosak is the name of that forest.
The Irizosak haunted forest. The way in which it's haunted is very interesting, and he kind of side-eyes Naomi.
How is it haunted?
The gnomes protect it, and they are devout in their ways. But it is a fun place if you can get past the initial frights. I don't know if you've ever spent time among the gnomish people, but they are a hoot.
Just Naomi, and she's definitely a bag full of fun.
You're going for a while, and
Do I overhear any of this?
Yeah,
you guys talking about
Irizosak? He's not trying to hide it. He gets the impression that you do enjoy being on the road, Triss. He's trying to feel you out, but he does give you. He says, "Hold up your palm."
Why?
I will give you an easy way to make an introduction with my friends. So we might skip the rather uncomfortable hello we shared this morning.
Right. So I hold up my hand.
And he uses the tip of his middle finger to briefly draw a thieves' cant symbol on your palm. It doesn't leave a mark, but you can feel it when he does it. It's a symbol for friend, but you can tell that it's been modified, which is not uncommon for thieves. Sometimes when they use things to denote their own materials or areas or people, they will modify symbols. This is one that's been modified for friend. And he says, if ever I'm not around and you run into some of the people who work for me, and he pats the cart of logs, he says, this will do you wonders. Draw it, or as I did on your hand, should the opportunity present itself.
All right, thank you. And I noticed that it went over my scar. I didn't instinctively, I should have not shown that palm.
He didn't bat an eye.
All right. Thank you. I find you very, very fascinating, and I probably could talk to you all day, but I won't bother you anymore.
He smiles, and I think that he walks near you so that the two of you can chat a bit. The last one of these that I want to do is with Iratran. Iratran, you're approached by Zanzel, the female half-elf, and she says, I saw you looking at my sword.
I couldn't help myself. It's a blade you have there.
Thank you. And she takes it out and then flits it around, and you can see that she's fighting with a style that you're not familiar with. It's very fluid and very graceful. The blade that she's holding is not a rapier. It's a sword. It has weight, yet she's using its momentum to carry it through the air in this graceful flourish. That isn't just for show. You can see that it's, like when you're practicing sword work solo, you go through movements. You can see that she's actually doing that for you now.
There's such grace in there. It's almost as fluid as the sea.
Why, thank you.
Where did you learn such movements?
Oh, I had a teacher for a very long time. A bit of a surrogate father, you might say. I did not have an easy upbringing, and I was taught how to defend myself from an early age.
It's a wise father there. Where would one learn such movements, if one were so inclined?
Well, it's a long walk. I could probably show you a couple.
Well, I would love to.
You guys are able to spar a bit. I mean, she would go into this. It's interesting, Airtrain. When you square up against her, she's never stops moving, but she's not like tiptoeing around. There's just this like fluidity to how she's going, and it makes it difficult for you to aim an attack. Roll to attack.
All right. Coming with my scimitar. Fitting. I rolled an 11.
Okay. She sidesteps it easily, and she says, again, there isn't much, like it's just I think maybe like it's a new person. You've never swung a sword at this person before, especially not in a friendly manner. And so maybe it catches you off guard. So she just steps away and she says, loosen up a little bit and try again.
All righty then. Again. 20.
Okay. What you watch her do confounds you. She steps sideways and allows your blade to pass almost up against her chest, and then she slides her blade underneath and scoops it around and throws you aside so forcefully that you almost lose a handle on your sword, but you keep one on. And she says again,
yes ma'am. Swinging scimitar. 20.
Sure. Again, you deliver the blow perfectly, having watched her do this once before. And this time she steps the opposite direction and closes the gap between you so that she's able to raise her blade into the crook of your arm and slap it sideways. And then she's just standing next to you with her sword in between the two of you. And then she slides out of your reach again. What you're seeing her doing is, mechanically speaking, she's using reactions to sacrifice her turn to completely disengage your attacks. Doing so would make it near impossible for you to land a blow. And as you continue to spar, you get the impression that she is a very skilled swords person. It's like watching dance. She never breaks a sweat. All of her movements coincide with your own, and all of her movements keep her incredibly close to your blade, so that she's never jumping out of the way. She's just knowing exactly where it's going and taking the minimum amount of movement to get out of the way.
Awesome. So, how do you get so close before, getting cut?
It takes practice, and I will warn you, you're going to get stabbed a lot learning this. Oh, you can see she holds up her forearms, and they are just, like she pulls down her cloak, and all of the scars are very old. You could see these being training wounds from somebody much younger. But her forearms are covered in blade and in cuts. And now that you can see, there are places on her face and her neck and her chest where a sword must have just passed by. It is not the desired method for most people because of the amount of time it takes to learn, but once you can train your mind to operate on the sword's edge, you can dance between blades as if they are air and water.
That sounds excellent. I cannot wait to learn.
She shows you a few moves and gives you a couple slow jabs, that allows you. It's just like it's like walking somebody through a dance. There's no reason for her to try and slice you up, and she's a very nice teacher. It's obvious that you're not going to have enough time to learn it on the road, but she gives you a taste of what it's like and the kinds of things that she does.
Okay.
And unless you guys have any other conversations you'd like to have,
I watch all that swordplay happen, and I say to Roaches, "Man, if only those blades could cut this smoldering sexual tension." Am I right?
Roaches is like, "You are right." All right, so there's you guys can actually see the capital long before you get there. The hills flatten out, and then you're on a road. The Smuggler's Road. Vats explains to you it's a way to jump tolls and taxes. So if you're trying to get anything around, it's less about getting it into the city and more about moving long distances with cargo without having to pay for the privilege to do so on the right roads. At the right time, he knows the way to get you back to a road that starts heading towards the capital. And you can see it in the distance. It's this beautiful, shining city. But before you get there, there is a rather large cemetery in the land leading up to. And as you pass, there's a road that goes through the cemetery that Vats ends up taking, and he says again, he's like, they ain't tolling you if you go through the cemetery. But you do see a grave digger working alongside a cart, and there's maybe 8 or 9 fresh plots that have been covered over, and he's working to dig another, and the cart next to him is just piled in bodies, close to a dozen. They are wrapped up in burlap and tied, but this older fellow is just digging graves, and he seems to have his work cut out for him.
I'm gonna go help him.
Okay. He is grateful. He says, I won't be able to pay you, obviously. My wages are scant as is, but if you're just here to help someone.
No payment is necessary. Once life has left the body, it's time for that body to return back to the earth to give back. And that is part of the duty of all peoples, so I'm more than willing to help you put some bodies in graves, with no question.
Yeah, he'll let you do it. If you guys are going to kick it here and dig these graves, Vats is going to continue on with his crew and the cart of lumber. They'd prefer to be within city walls, but if you guys are cool with that, they will say a nice farewell and continue on.
We do have a Duchess to save. You know that, Argus, right?
Oh
But
yeah,
our
of course I
time's
do.
limited.
But maybe perhaps we might find something out about all these folks who died all at the same time. Isn't that odd?
The gravedigger says, there's not much to it, but darkness grows in the Atzian. That's the mountain ranges that are on the backside of the capital. There's this beautiful land that leads up to it where you are now, where you can just kind of see for miles. But even from here, you can see this massive mountain range curled around the back of the city as a natural barrier. He says, darkness grows in Atzian. There's been a surplus of monsters lately, and many have fallen to them.
And since when have these come out? Since when have these?
Last couple days has been the worst.
I believe there's dark magic afoot.
Did any of them look like a big green skull?
No.
That's a relief, frankly.
They were diverse. There were many kinds. and they come down from the mountains and they enter into the city and they terrorize us. And it hasn't been this way in a long time.
When was the last time it was like this? You said it's a long time.
Well, not since this current Duchess or any of the guards here. The city up until now has been for my lifetime, it's been a safe bastion.
Is there any news about the Duchess or the capital that has reached you?
No, and I was just there this morning. There is talk of a large celebration put together in the last week or so, almost out of nowhere. Many nobles have been entering the city. I have heard of well, I've never been to one, so I don't know what to call it, but I imagine there'll be food and drink up at the palace.
I could drink. How far away is the capital at this point?
You guys can see it. It's probably just another hour on the road. It's easy going where you are. There's big. I can actually give you guys a little bit of flavor here. The capital. I'm getting some eye in the sky talk here.
In our in where I come from, we call that a soiree. An old relevant term that means get crunk like a motherfucker.
Whoop, whoop. I think I know what you mean. So the capital is called Kiribiriak. It stands proudly before you, though everyone just calls it the capital since it's way easier to say. There's a massive stone wall that surrounds the city. It's about 25 feet high and thick enough to ride a horse across. And by the looks of things, it's very well guarded. And he or points towards the capital, and you see this. And it's a bit of a tiered city, so it kind of rises as you get into some of the higher districts. But you can even see the palace from where you are near the top of the city. And he points to it and says, "Never get far from the wall myself, but if you're speaking of the Duchess," and he kind of looks at you guys, you look like shit. He's like, "But if you're planning on attending, you don't want to be late."
That place that we could wash up nearby, perhaps
we should help very quickly and then head back on the road. I mean, if that's, it sounds like we need to be in this capital as soon as possible if there is a party tonight.
We also need to clean up, but they won't let us in.
Do you know somewhere where they might let us clean up?
Oh, yeah. He tells you that once you get inside the city, there's all kinds of inns that you'll be able to get a room at that have baths.
So you're saying I can't go like this and just go like that and dust pops off and go, clean.
Come on, little dust one.
You don't quite smell clean, I'm sorry.
Oh, well, I can't really help with that one, but I look decent, so it's fine.
While you guys are having this conversation, the gravekeeper's gone around to the back of his cart, and he's come around with a handful of shovels, and he's like, "So, you were gonna stick around and help me? Probably shouldn't take more than, with your help, I'd imagine 6 to 8 hours."
Oh.
Wow, look at the sun. We've got to be going.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry. We turns out this didn't realize the party was this early. We are very behind, and you seem extremely capable.
Somehow we lost an entire day. If this was yesterday, then it would have been fine. But since today, sorry, bro.
Aye, and we don't want to miss the high tides going out, so I appreciate the help for the
Just like lets the shovels clatter to the ground, and he says, "Oh no, I get it. Thank you for coming over here unprovoked and offering to help me. I do appreciate the thought." And he turns back and just starts digging the grave again.
Well, I feel like a dickhead, but okay. We got good information out of it, so I think it's worth it to some degree. Bye.
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 All right, it's a quick trip to the capital. The road gets better and better and better the closer you get. And when you enter, the gates are open. You can see that cobbled roads run hard lines around the city like clockwork. There's soldiers of every ilk on patrol. It seems like maybe this tension has escalated things, but you could imagine there being plenty of muscle anyways. In fact, there's a lot of weapons and a lot of muscle on these guards, and they're quite intimidating considering your present company. Naomi! But it's bustling here. It's huge. Triss, have you ever been to the capital?
I think I probably went once.
Okay. Yeah, it's huge compared to the places you guys have been lately. There's a lot going on. I think that we can kind of just hit some of these in a row. It sounds like you want to get cleaned up. Naomi, are you going to want to hit that market thing?
That's a yes.
Okay. Is there anything else that you guys are going to want to do? So what I'm getting is that hearing about this party, you want in, and you're trying to stop this assassination on the Duchess.
Don't I look like a noble?
Yes.
I'm wearing a loincloth, by the
a
way.
reverse Vulcan there. So I think that you will have to do a couple things. You'll need to find out more about the party, and then you'll need to figure out a way to get in. But let's do what we want to do first, which is take Naomi to the reef. How would you go about finding a market of this sort, Naomi?
Sure. So the people who know the most is back of house. So when we get to the inn, I would go back into the kitchens and talk to the dish pit.
Okay. We got an inn. I'm gonna put us at a hub. It is called the Maid and Hen. To get there, you ride through some more well-to-do neighborhoods with vendors hawking wares at prices which raise your eyebrows. At the intersection, some of this flavor text is new to me, so I'm just having to read it for the first time. At the intersection of 630 and J, you find the inner courtyard of the Maid and Hen. There's a familiar sound of clinking and merriment which greets your very tired ears. A wooden sign of a milkmaid choking a chicken between her legs reads, "The Maid and Hen." Outside, there are 3 retired sailors who are spilling their drinks and stories to each other. And by the sound of it, there are a lot more people inside. It's all wood, warm, has a very low ceiling. There's servers and patrons milling about. It's evening, you know. Yeah, they're singing Jolly Sea Shanties. There's, whatever you need. You're going to be able to get a room here, no problem. How much gold do you guys got? To get all 4 of you one night, it's going to be 4 gold. It's not that expensive.
I have a lot, I think.
Okay.
I've got
so 4 gold for you guys to have a room. So that'll be your base
24.
of operations. It's going to be the
idea.
Maid and Hen.
Okay.
So you ask the back of house, Naomi. It takes some. Give me a. What's good for this? I think like performance to prove that you are worthy of this secret information.
Okay. Okay, that's a 21.
Okay, yeah, they tell you exactly where it's going to be. In fact, they fucking love you, Naomi.
I mean, come on. Am I right?
They send one of the busboys out to just show you where to go. He says on the way that it's never in the same place, but there is a couple places to check. And he bops through a couple different alleys and then finally finds one that has a little bell hung on the door. And he knocks this little secret knock, which is nothing more than a series of taps to you. And then they let you in. This place is called Rick's Fix. RIXFIX, Rick's Fix. Inside, there's not people. There's nobody milling around this place.
Okay.
It's a series of intricate suitcases that can be opened into like displays. You've seen some of these with road merchants who don't have time to set up an entire shop. And there's some of the types of things that Roaches was talking about. You see items of, it's not jewelry, like you're not seeing gold and diamonds and stuff, but what you're seeing is what look like very peculiar, very specific functioned things. They're made out of the skins of beasts or the scales of reptiles. Some of them have a pelt on them. There's journals, belts, capes, cloaks, a couple swords, a couple daggers, and these are all kind of arrayed in these trunks. And Rix is an an elf, but a teenager elf. So some years there, but not much maturity. And their hair is a bit corkscrewed, and they're wearing big old Coke bottle glasses and a white coat. And they say, "What's up? What's up?"
Wow, you must be Rix. This is a great place you got here, man. This is really something.
Thanks. I'm really suspicious of you. Who showed you the way?
So someone who would know, you know, a little bug told me how to get here, you know. It was roaches. It was roaches. Yeah.
Well, what can I do for you?
Well, so
we got all this stuff.
Yeah, well, so the thing is, I was told that if I had a thing that you could then make that thing into stuff. Does that?
Oh,
is
yeah.
that- yeah.
That's
Oh,
like
great.
our mission statement.
Oh, great. I love that. Okay, so I pull open my pack and I take out the sparkly moth blanket, and I'm like, I had this. There was this big thing, and we destroyed it, and then sort of dropped this, and yeah, I don't know. Can we do like a snazzy little like bolero jacket kind of thing, or like you know what's stylish right now?
Rix is nodding, but he says, "Can I?"
Oh yeah.
Fancy bolero jacket.
Oh, Rix is supposed to be a girl. Rix is a girl.
Sure.
She's got a corkscrew of hair. Yeah, so she takes it from you and says, this is nice. What can you tell me at some of the properties of the creature that it came off of?
Ooh, yeah. Very big and with a tendency to entrap in a big, horrible rib cage. Does that, and it flew, it totally flew, it could fly.
Even better.
And
And
all the
yeah,
glitter. All
had
the
kind of
glitter.
those mothy little antlers, you know, and very sparkly, very extremely sparkly.
Yeah,
The inside of my
okay.
bag is like Sparkle Town. It's like
Yeah.
a craft store in there. It's a nightmare. My camera.
I'll give you 2,000 gold for this thing right now.
Oh, yeah. The thing is, you know, it was really a team effort to like acquire this thing, and it's not super like I killed the thing, so I feel like I should consult. I'm more interested in making stuff. Can you make the stuff?
Okay. Yeah. So I imagine your associates talked to you about my prices.
No. This would be for like money. You would need money to do this.
Well, interesting that you bring it up. Let's just get the hard part out of the way, okay? It'll cost you 2,000 gold for me to turn this into something fancy, especially if you want a bolero jacket.
Woof.
Or you could do me a favor.
Mm-hmm.
And
Is
a little side quest pops up over her head.
What sort of service could I render you, Rix?
Well, I better give this back to you before I don't want to anymore. And she hands you the wing.
Sure.
She
You want to
says,
wash
well-
your hands, by the way? This stuff gets everywhere. Like for
She's been
real.
like touching her face as she's been talking, so there's just glitter all over her face and she doesn't even notice.
Great.
She says, I don't have anything in mind, but I would like your help. How about this? Come back and see me in a couple days, and I will let you know.
Yeah, that's great. Sounds good. I love a blank check. You know, life is chaotic. It's like we go with the flow. You seem pretty, you seem great. Yeah, sure. I'll come back in a couple days. There's a small chance. I just wanted to be totally upfront that the next couple days may involve some fairly intense, tussling with like eldritch unspeakable evils that
Oh,
I
yeah.
may not be able to come back for
I hear ya.
reasons. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Okay, just so you know.
Oh, here. She actually goes over to one of the suitcases that's behind like a makeshift counter that she's done out of like barrels and a piece of board. And she pulls up a little pouch that you can hear rattling around. And when she opens it up, you can see that it's actually it's not marbles. I just want to let you down easy now. I don't want to freak you out, okay? It's actually got a bunch of small gold, they look like makeup compacts. And she plucks one out, and you can see that bell that was hung on the door has been engraved into the top. And when she clicks it open, you can see that it's a compass. But it doesn't have the cardinal directions on it. She then pulls a necklace out, and you can see a much larger compass on the necklace. And she says, "This will always get you to this when I turn it on."
Wow. I'm examining the little compass mechanism.
Basically,
did you put this together? This is great.
Oh, yeah. I'm an enchanter, so I do all kinds of like dope shit. It would blow your mind.
Wow.
Basically, what she says is that compass, this is like a lodestone in a sense that she has to activate it so people can't like come kill her in her sleep. But when her store is open for business, she activates it, and anybody who has one of these compasses can find her place.
Wow. That is
basically
nifty.
She's giving you an opportunity to do her a favor when it won't disrupt your party's agenda. And
super.
Okay.
That's I'll happily leave the moth blanket with my new best friend.
Cool. Yeah.
Later.
On your way back to the Maid and Hen, Naomi, you meet up with the rest of your crew. Triss, Iratran, Argus, have you guys cleaned up yet?
Oh,
Okay.
I'm confused because I haven't seen my own face for so long that it's kind of a little much. Like that thing where you look in the mirror and go.
You guys are squeaky clean except for Naomi, who was last we spoke, covered in grease, twigs, sticks, and leaves.
Yeah. That's true.
Like a horse trough or something. You can just anchor in.
About the woods with you.
Where would you like to go? So, if you're going to, I think the first step is going to be to obtain information, right? You've only heard about this party. Where would you like to do so? It doesn't need to be an exact location. It can be a type of place.
Oh, well, then we'll go to a tavern. They always have great information there.
Free party.
Sure. The one you're at right now, the inn does have a bar inside. It's a bit more well-to-do than the places you usually go bust knuckles, Iratran. Are you looking for a different spot?
I'm looking for something with a bit of flavor.
Okay. You're actually going to need to go back down towards the wall. And when you guys were coming in the main entrance, you saw several joints that might fit the bill. As you get down there, there's a bit of a to-do happening. Many of the folk from this area of town, they remind you of the Gravedigger. They look like to be like laborers, farmers, etc. Very different from the place that you just got some rooms. Your rooms cost 1 gold a night. The rooms here cost 1 copper. So it's a very different crowd. You see that there's these people lining the streets. There seems to be something happening at the main entrance. There's a bit of a caravan's like way too much, but there's several carriages all in a line that are coming through, and everybody seems to be gathered around.
Well, that seems like the right place to go.
Okay, cool. Triss, roll perception.
Oh, and I'm not at a disadvantage, finally.
You are not at disadvantage. I was really torturing you guys, but, I don't like it that much.
Oh, whatever.
It's like
Such a lie.
thing. This
Such a liar.
It hurts you.
Love it. 14.
Okay, that's good enough. You guys are able to, working together, fight your way to the front of the crowd. As a matter of fact, Triss, since you only rolled a 14, the reason you get a view of this is because as you're kind of muscling your way to the front, somebody bumps you out into the street, and you actually almost fall, but one of the guards walking alongside the carriages catches your elbow and lifts you up, and you can see he's an escort for whoever these carriages are, and on his chest is your family crest.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. And then I'm gonna turn around.
Sure. The carriages had to come to a stop so they didn't run you over. And you see the door open, and the Baroness leans out and says, "Why have we stopped? Triss? Beatrice?" She would not have said Triss. We do need to roll that back a little bit. She would have said, "Beatrice?
Beatrice? Hello? Beatrice? You're being called." And then I try to walk away.
Stop her." The guard doesn't put his hands on you, but pivots around to block an easy exit.
Well,
Is my scar gone? Is everything gone?
I don't know. What did you do? You said you bathed.
Well, I think that my eye is still white, but the scar probably washed off, and I didn't bring supplies to put it back on. So
How do you do your eye white thing?
it's a contact. Just pop it in. Okay, I turn around.
Yeah, I mean, are you gonna, if you're getting cleaned up for this party, would you be Triss, or would you be Beatrice?
I was wondering if that was ever going to be a thing. Wondering for 4 episodes if that was going to be a thing.
It is.
Or be a Triss.
I would. You're right. I would if I was trying to get in, I would probably be Beatrice.
I'm doing you a favor right now, okay?
All right,
I'll
fine.
give you this one. Yeah. So she recognizes you, and she says, "Beatrice, how fortuitous."
Mother, I didn't know you would be here so early.
What the three of you other folks see is Triss standing in the roadway talking to. You can hear people mumbling in the crowd. None of you got elbowed out into the street. You hear them saying, "Who's that? She's talking to the Baroness. Who is that? Is that the Baroness's daughter?" There's just like this hubbub.
Well, I had a very lovely time with Jean-Luc, and I figured I would come to the party and make an appearance, like you said, and I am right now just getting ready. I need to, I have shoes being fit for me, so I've got to go pick them up. They're brand new because I broke the heel of my other ones.
Oh, don't be silly, Beatrice. We're here now. We can all go to the party together.
All right, I made some friends in a pub and I lost a bet. So I said that I would bring them along with me. So is that all right? You know how much we have to keep our word.
Where are they?
They're back there. And I point to...
What do the three of you do?
I say, is she in trouble? Do we have to kill them? What is going on?
I wave and go, I have no idea.
I'm an adventurer.
Who's the broad in the carriage?
The Baroness turns back to you, Beatrice, and says, "Well, I can see that you've had quite a bit of fun on the road."
So much fun. So looking forward to tonight.
Yes. Me too. Blackout.
All have our health.
At least we have full health and we're cleaned up. So there's that.
Very true. Thank God.
Wow. Well, speak for yourself. But
Oh yeah.
Covered in lard.
We still have a greased up gnome.
Oh my God.
Oh man, greased up gnome. I want that as a T-shirt now.
Fuck it, dude. Get it as a tattoo.
Why not? It'll
Commit,
age well.
commit. Greased up gnome just across my chest.
Get it as a tramp stamp. Wow.
Now you're speaking my language.
Oh yeah, tramp stamp. This is like right to the heart. Yeah,
Mood. It's a mood.
All right.
10 mood.
I think that's it for us tonight. I want to say thanks so much to everybody who's watching and everybody who is throwing cool stuff our way and just hooking us up. That makes us able to do this. You guys being a part of this and interacting with us and hooking us up with stuff, that makes all this possible. And we love it. So thank you. Please spread the word, hit the follow button, subscribe, join us on social media, and check out the past episodes on YouTube, as well as that brand new Previously On. There's a link below to all of that stuff. So come in, get part of the fun. There's some great TikToks that the crew's been putting out. They are wonderful. So check those out too. And until next time, I'm your DM, Jesse Keeter, saying, are you in?
Bye, guys.
Oh.